you ready for a little Southern humor mixed with relevant topics we can all relate to? We're about to pull back the curtains and mix it up. Scoot your chair up. It's time to talk about all the things and ask all the questions. Welcome to Get It Together, y'all.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. We're so glad that you joined us today. I'm really excited to share this show with you guys. We're really excited about it. Hope you're having a great day. Hope this is, catching you at a good spot. I know a lot of people watch, and some people, a lot of people just listen. So whether you're listening to us or you're watching us, we're going to have a good time today. Get a cup of coffee and get comfortable. We got some funny things. I got some funny things up my sleeve. I don't even have sleeves, but anyway, it's fun. And we're going to kick it with Dr. G today. But first I want to introduce my co-host, April. By the way, I'm Cindy Larson. If you don't know me, I feel like that you just need to go back and watch a bunch of shows. You'll know me in about 2 shows. You'll go, oh, I know that girl. And
Absolutely.
I am what I am, and I'm what you see. So anyway, I am so glad that you're joining us today on Get It Together, y'all. And I am the host, but I do have a fabulous co-host, April.
Thank you. I'm April Potter, the co-host. So happy to be here today. We've got a fantastic guest for you, something I'm super passionate about. I have literally, chiropractic has changed my world.
Really?
I had migraine headaches before I started seeing a chiropractor regularly. And so I'm so passionate about this, and I can't wait for our listeners to hear what Dr. Gavin, I'm going to try to say this, Grimaldi.
Yes.
Dr. G is
Yes.
just,
Yes.
we're just going to say Dr. G. Is that what your patient says?
Yeah, most
Okay.
people just say that.
Well, we're going to say that because it's easier, okay?
Yep, it's fine with me.
Awesome. We're so happy to have you here today.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. So basically, Rachel's son-in-law and daughter are patients of mine, and made a connection through that, and brought me here. So I'm excited to do it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, my daughter and son-in-law, they have just bragged about you and just absolutely adore your wife. Next time she needs to come, we'd love to meet her too. But they just are like, they didn't just find a doctor. They just really feel like you're a friend.
Yeah.
Which I think is so cool because in my experience, a lot of doctors have been doctors so long that they're kind of bored with that. And they just kind of like, you don't feel pulled into it. And so I love that they feel your passion.
Yeah.
And you've not made them feel like any concern they had was no questions been silly. Like, I just already love you because they are so crazy about you. And so we're going to get into a lot of questions that I personally have. And if you live in the local area, we're going to give addresses and we're going to give contact information that we'll hook up on our website. So
Absolutely.
thank you for being here.
Yeah,
And you're so cute. Like you're a baby,
Yeah.
but so to be a doctor in this young, I hate to ask you what your age, but you're very cute. And I don't blame anybody for wanting you to be their doctor.
I appreciate it. Yeah. It's a long road, but I was able to do it pretty quickly, which is nice. I'm only 26. So it was, graduate high school and then was able to finish my undergrad in 3 years, and then did chiropractic school in 3.5.
So you knew right away what you wanted to be.
I wouldn't say that. I knew that I wanted to be in medicine, and I knew that I wanted to be a doctor of some sort. Wasn't sure what. And then spent some time shadowing some MDs and some DOs, and just didn't really like the idea of just giving out pills to people and not seeing results, right? Like it's just, you're just band-aiding the symptoms, not necessarily treating the root cause. So I didn't really like that about it. And then I spent some time with a chiropractor and was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I was an athlete, a college athlete at the time. So getting to see athletes getting treated and people just getting better overall is what led me to it. And seeing people come in pain and leave not in pain was huge because not many times do you go to a doctor in pain or not feeling well and leave feeling better. It usually takes weeks to months to days to feel better. So that was cool. And that's
wow.
Awesome.
And, our kids are a testament to that. So that's fantastic. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to
And
be
we're
here.
excited. So we have some things that we want to do because we always do it. We have some fun facts.
Yes.
And so we April and I from time to time we hit the road and we kind of go out and we have some shows that you'll be seeing in the rotation of our programming that are recorded from other places. But these United States there's some crazy laws and April grew up, her dad was a police officer, so she's been scared to death to break laws because not knowing, like, do you turn right on red, do you
Right.
and she was just it's been a journey because she just feels like the cops are going to be chasing us, and surely we've broken some laws. But I have some laws that we would never have guessed. Did you know that in Alabama, it is against the law, like they have in 1965, they passed a law that said that you can't give away, you can't distribute, you can't throw or own any kind of stink bombs.
No.
You're
Not that
too-
I have made any in my backyard or anything.
Well, but I just want to know, like, how literal. Like, I know some people that would never get out of jail. They're a
Right.
walking stink bomb. Like, I don't know. You're too young, but I don't know. In the 80s, it seems like there was a bunch of stink bomb, kind of. I don't know.
It was a thing.
It was a thing.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely too young for that.
You're too young for that. There's even some cheese that you can't even, like, people would, I hear this back from my mom. Like, it's always been funny, I think, on some level, that thing, what stinks is funny. But my mom talks about getting this Munzburger, no, it's some kind of I'll need to find out. You can Google it. What kind of cheese stinks? But they would take a chunk of this cheese. Yeah, Google stinky cheese. And they would put it in their friend's glove box of their car. And it would absolutely smell like a dead body. And it was just, let's see what you come up with.
there's 17
It's-
top stinky cheeses.
I want to
Wow.
know, what are they?
Wow. I can't pronounce them all.
Oh, no.
That's number one.
Can't,
That's not it.
no.
Oh,
Hamburg.
seriously.
No,
These
I can't pronounce that.
Swedish or something. I don't know.
Not French. Okay, Limburger. Limburger cheese is what
Is one of 'em.
was the cheese that my mom used to talk about. So Limburger, that's fine. You can put it away. The Limburger is the one I was looking for.
I might have to put that on
Put it in
a link.
in Alabama.
Top 17 stinkiest cheeses, in case you're wondering.
But don't be doing it in Alabama.
Yeah.
Because
You'll
they
be
don't
going to
appreciate
jail.
it. They don't appreciate it. I don't know how much it's, enforced. In Florida, it is against the law to wear a full face mask. Like full. I know
Like
we all.
what happens
Like a
on
ski
Halloween?
mask?
I know, like a ski mask, like a full. If
I don't
like
think
a
that's
costume
enforced.
mask.
surely now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's a lot of kids, like a lot of young kids that are in
Spider-Man
the ski
or-
mask gang.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that, so.
Yeah, but not in Florida. They're gonna come down on you on that. And in Georgia, this is the last one I'm gonna share. It is, well, I have more, so I might share more. But anyway, in Georgia, now I got a backstory, but this is actually since 1961 they passed a law that you cannot eat fried chicken with a knife and fork. Now, they did it. If you look into it, they passed this law so that they would get attention. But they never really enforced it. But evidently, there was somebody, a tourist, in 2009 that actually did get arrested. I guess they
What?
decided on that day to enforce the no.
So that's more important than robbing a bank.
They wanted publicity. They're getting it. They're getting it today.
Wow.
I don't know. Do you have any fun facts?
I do, actually. Did you know that over half of the Americans over the age of 12 listen to a podcast?
Wow.
It's crazy.
Do you
Yeah.
listen to a podcast?
Yeah, I listen to some. I listen to a lot of like health related podcasts, a lot of motivational related podcasts,
Yeah.
chiropractic related podcasts, and some fantasy football stuff too. but-
Okay. There's fantasy football.
Podcast.
Yeah, it's really
Podcasts?
big. Yeah, it's gotten really big as fantasy football has gotten bigger and bigger.
So,
But yeah,
I know
listen
this
to
is
lot
a
of those.
dumb question, but would the podcast be a fantasy as well? Or are they just talking about it?
They're discussing the fantasy
Yeah.
football
Good.
topics. Yes.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah. No.
what
Do you know
kind-
how many listeners that ends up being?
No.
144 million podcast
Well, you know,
listeners.
the reason I decided to do this podcast is because, well, I have grown sons, and they both at different times. Now they would probably not admit this, but they have both told me that I needed to do a podcast. And I'm like, who watches a podcast? How do you get And so anyway, but then it did stick in my mind that, I have done television since I was a child. But podcast is a whole nother platform. And I'm like, I don't think this is going away. Not anytime soon. Like during the pandemic, I think a lot of people that did face-to-face meetings and, churches, a lot of people explored this YouTube. Well, we're just going to go live and and it became more, more people got into putting out content, on a streamable way. But who would have ever thought? Now, you're a baby, but you're way younger than me. I need to talk to the audience. Remember when? TV was only just network channels, and it was just unheard of that.
You know what? Twitter actually was supposed to be a podcast format.
Really?
Yes, I just found that out today. I was like, what?
I feel like a lot of people do a lot more video action and stuff on Twitter now. That ever since Elon's bought it and it's become
Right.
X and all that, it's becoming a lot more like example with what happened today in Biden dropping out of the presidential race. Like the first place I saw it was from an NBA reporter on Twitter. Like he
Yeah.
was the guy
Wow.
that broke the news,
Yeah.
not not Fox News or anything.
And that's
like
not
that,
what
or
you
not
think
CNN.
of
No,
it to
was
be
an
at
NBA
all,
reporter
you know?
that broke
Yeah.
the news. It's crazy.
Wow.
Wow. So everything goes fast because of that. Because we can get information really quick. It's just a new world. It's a new day.
It
You
is.
know, when I grew up, it was just such a different day. And then I hear my grandparents are passed away, but I remember listening to them back in the day and hearing them talk about when I was a kid, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, you rode horses? Of course people still ride horses, but it was a necessity at some point, and now we think of it as just a luxury. Like, well, that's an expensive hobby, but it used to be. And for a lot of people, I know we've Pastor Dr. G. I started to call you Pastor G. Now that was crazy. Oh Lord, but we have interviewed people that work with the Amish community.
Nice.
Do you have any people that come to you from like? You're probably too south. My parents go to Bowling Green to a chiropractor who deals with a lot of Amish families.
Well, I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area, and so there's a huge Amish community
Yes,
in Pennsylvania.
there is.
And so
Absolutely.
we live in small town. I'm from small town Pennsylvania, but going to school every morning, you would see people on their horse and buggies going
Yeah.
to the Amish school. So
Yeah.
definitely a huge Amish community out there. And then where my wife's from is like Huntington, Pennsylvania. There's a big
Wow.
Amish community out there. They've got Amish doctors. Amish dentists that do like don't ask, don't tell. You just come, you give a donation, and they do what you need them to do.
I
So-
love that. I'm
Yeah.
going to go to a
Yeah.
Don't Ask, Don't Tell dentist.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
That sounds fun. Well, that leads us, you talking about where you're from, that leads us to another thing that we do here is Southern Mother. So if you're from Pennsylvania, you did not have a Southern mother. We
I did
need to
not.
educate you.
I did not. I definitely have a lot of patients that are Southern mothers, so I've gotten a fair taste of it. For sure. It's definitely a different way of life too. Where I'm from, everything's fast paced, go go go.
Yeah.
We just move at a lot faster pace. So down here, everything being a lot slower was a huge
What
change
brought
for me.
you here?
So at the end of chiropractic school, you have to do like a residency. It's like an 8-month program where you go and you just work under another chiropractor. And so I was fortunate enough to do mine under the Tennessee Titans team chiropractor, Dr. Ben Johnson. He's got his own private practice in Nashville, downtown. And so I was just at his private practice with him.
Yeah.
But just the opportunity to learn from someone that was so highly educated.
So did you crack backs of any of the tight ends?
I did not. No. So he...
I want to hear about
Say
that.
he strictly worked on the Titans players, and I was just kind of his shadow and got to see some of my own patients. But just being around that and seeing how he treats world class athletes was really cool and gave me a taste of
Wow.
that. So.
What sport did you play?
I played baseball in college at a small D3 school in Pennsylvania. And I enjoyed that. And then, so that's kind of what gave me the taste for treating athletes and all that. So I do treat a ton of athletes at my practice, which is cool too.
Wow. Oh, we're just learning so much. Yeah, we are Southern mothers ourselves, and we have both come from the South. And so given you were from Pennsylvania, were you from like what is your European connection? Are you guys Dutch? Are you like?
So my grandfather's Italian, so most of my
Okay.
Grimaldi being Italian. Yes.
True, duh.
Yes. And then my mom's family, my mom's name was Slavic, so they were Slovakian.
Okay.
So some Italian, some German, some Slovakian, but no Pennsylvania Dutch.
Have you been to Italy and
I have
explored?
not. I have not. Would love to. My wife and I plan to someday,
Yeah.
but not yet.
Oh man, I love Italy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's my jam. So I would love to just live vicariously through all my friends who go to Italy. Like, take me with you. Take tons of pictures, and I'll go. Oh, I've been there, or I would need to go there. So it's a wonderful. How many generations was your dad? Your grandparents, have they all been Americans for a long,
it was
long time?
my grandfather's grandfather. So my great grandfather
Okay.
came over from Sicily when he was 14
Sicily.
on a boat by himself, and then made his way through Ellis Island and made his way to Johnstown, Pennsylvania, which is where my family roots are, is in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. So.
Did you have any opportunity to did any of your ancestors write any of this history down, or is it just basically shared through?
I think my grandfather, who I'm really close with, and he's still in Johnstown, but he did like the Ancestry.com thing and all that. And so I think that's kind of where it's from. And then he's had the opportunity to go back over to Sicily and meet all his cousins and all that. So
That's cool.
it's cool.
Does your mom make good Italian food?
So my mother's not from the Italian side. It's my
No.
dad's dad.
But you have to
Yes.
learn.
But
Like,
all that to say, my mom's mom, being from Slovakia, makes crazy good pierogies.
Oh.
So I don't know if you guys are familiar with pierogies
No,
down here.
tell us.
So pierogies is like it's like almost like a potato puree inside
Yeah.
of like a dough, but it's
Okay.
really good, and they're really big in Pennsylvania. Like they do like pierogi races where people dress up in pierogi costumes and race each
how
other.
It's a whole
fun.
thing.
Yeah.
Do they put meat in it too, or
No.
different things? But it's
No.
just potato
Yes.
with
Yes.
man, my kind of pie.
And then they
That'd
put
be
it
like potato fried pie. Do you fry it?
Yeah, so they'll
I
fry
knew
them,
it.
cook them, and put like butter and onions over top.
Of
They're
course.
unbelievable. So.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, I'm so there for it. Yeah, we like to say we're so Southern, we fry our fruit.
Yeah.
But
It's funny. We went to the Wilson County Fair and they were like selling fried butter, and I was just like, as a
Wow.
doctor, I'm just like,
oh man,
yeah. But it was cool to see. Yeah.
well, love it. So we have great respect for our moms. Is there like a certain memory about your mom that you kind of want to share with everybody? What kind of gal was she? Is she?
Yeah, I mean, she definitely has.
You got a big family, or
I do. Yeah, I've got 3 younger siblings, so my mom definitely has a caring heart. She's always the one to take care of all of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just couldn't ask for anything different. So.
Were your parents in the medical field, or?
No, they're both school teachers.
Oh.
Yeah, my mom's still working as a school teacher, and my dad's since retired. He served in the military for a little bit, and then got into school teaching and stuff. And
Wow.
he's retired now. So.
How did you meet your wife?
So we met while I was in college, at Juniata College playing baseball. We were both in undergrad together, met, and then she's 2 years younger than me, so I was on my way out and heading to St. Louis, Missouri to go to chiropractic school. And she still had 2 more years of school left. So we took a little hiatus for a little bit and then reconnected and kind of got everything back together.
Now, I understand that she is in school. What is she going to be?
So she, right now she works full time for Cumberland University.
Okay.
She's an associate registrar for them. And then she's also doing her master's of healthcare admin through LSU. So that'll be finishing here in a month or so.
Will she work in the, I don't know where that leads her. Will she work in the office with you, or?
We haven't really talked about it, thought about it too much. We did work together for a while. When I first got out of school, I didn't have my own practice. I worked under somebody else, and she was there. So that's tough. That's a tough area to navigate because your daily conversations are work, and then you go home and conversations are still work.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure you and your husband are talking about podcast stuff all the time. So.
We are. And it does present challenges, but it's a full-time thing to be still getting her undergrad and all that. That's amazing.
So she's got her undergrad. This is a master's of healthcare admin.
Oh, wow.
So it's a lot.
That's amazing.
So did I hear you say that you only did your schooling in 3.5 years?
The chiropractic school was 3.5.
Isn't that
undergrad
quick
was
for
3 years.
chiropractic? Or
it's a 3.5 year,
Okay.
like 40 month programs, what they call it.
so you have your other undergrad work already done, and then you
Yes,
go to
and then you go to
okay.
that. Yeah, so you have to get a bachelor's degree before you can go there.
Okay.
And then it's kind of added on top of that. I was able to get my undergrad done in 3 years versus 4 years, so that was nice.
I thought it was a little quick. It
Yeah, it was
sounded
definitely quick,
fast. I was
yeah.
like, wow, okay.
Yeah,
That's
most
awesome.
of the kids I graduated with were like 26 when we graduated. I was only 24, so
Okay.
definitely.
So he
expedited.
is a young doctor.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What position did you play in baseball?
I was a pitcher.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I was a pitcher. Yeah.
So, did you ever blow your arm out?
I did not, no. But I had low back pain, and so that's what led me to go to the chiropractor a lot when I was playing.
Yeah.
And so I don't know where we're going with this conversation, but
Wherever you want to go.
I went to like a normal chiropractor in a small town, right? And it was just like lay on the table, pop your back, and then that's kind of it. And like you feel good for 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
But by the time you get back to your car, you feel the pain again.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of my experience with chiropractic, and going through chiropractic school, I just assumed that's what it was. But then when I went and did the residency in Nashville, that's when I really my mind was open to it. There's so many more avenues of chiropractic. There's sports chiropractic. You can spend 30, 40 minutes with a patient and truly get them better. And then they just leave with a better experience anyway. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
And so that's where I kind of changed my mind on chiropractic.
And that kind of leads into some of my curiosity about your work and how you would say to somebody who really has only had that experience in a chiropractor and they think that's all it is, or the extreme of that is that it's like, let me see how long your feet are, and they don't really, so some chiropractors. Tell us, where do you fall within how hands-on and how,
I think there's definitely a wide spectrum of chiropractic.
Yeah.
You have your people that will bring you in, x-ray you, show you your spine, tell you they're going to realign your whole spine, and put everything back into place, which just doesn't happen.
Right.
You can't push on somebody and realign everything perfectly.
Right.
We're humans, right? Like nothing is symmetrical. Your face isn't symmetrical.
Right.
The right side of your body holds more weight than the left side of your body, so you're never going to be symmetrical. You have 3 lobes of lung on your right side versus 2 lobes on the left because your heart's there. So and there's so many more organs on your right side. So your body will never be symmetrical. So no one's going to be able
learned something.
to line.
I've learned
Take
something.
notes.
Yes.
No one's ever going to be able to realign your whole body and make everything.
Next
symmetrical,
time I have to step on the scale, I'm gonna can I?
It's your organs.
Yeah.
Just weigh it more.
Yeah,
Sure.
just like,
That's fine.
wow, that's
Not right
so
sideways
great.
more.
Yeah.
Are you like considering how many organs I have on this right side? Like, give me a
That's
break.
So yeah, there's that side of it where it's like super like that's very, very old school chiropractic. There's definitely a happy medium of like people that are old school but trying to get into new school and will buy big, fancy, expensive equipment and put you under that, like laser therapy,
Right.
Some shockwave therapy, all that. But it's and that does have some efficacy.
Okay.
It does work decently. And then there's more of like my line, which is younger kids, students, doctors that just got out of school and want to be more hands-on and do a lot more like manual work. So do some cupping, some ART, active release technique, which is like pushing on the muscle, releasing the muscle. Some dry needling work, and then really help you get better with exercise. And so exercise is what makes most people get better, right?
Okay.
Nothing that I do or we do in that 30-minute period that I'm with you is going to fix everything
But
forever.
like physical therapy, like you can show them what to do at home.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's what will keep you better. Movement is medicine.
Yeah.
Motion is lotion, and rest is rust.
Wow, more than,
Say that
write
again.
that down.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
night. Say
Can
it
you
one
say
more
that
time.
again?
So, movement is medicine is a motto that I live by, but a good one that I saw by Dr. Bo Beard. He said, "Motion is lotion, and rest is rust."
Wow.
So,
I
Wow.
love that. That's
Yeah.
going to be our
Yeah.
little short. I go in after a show and I will pull out little things that she can pop up on social media, and that will definitely
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, it's not
Something
my
to
saying, but
remember. Yeah.
That's okay. No, let me give you just release your guilt of needing to always give credit. The first time you say something, you give credit to the person you heard it from. Then the second time you say it, you can say I've said, and then or I've heard. So you can give the credit and then say I've heard it said, and then you can say I always say.
yeah, that's the truth, right?
So if you've
Yeah.
already said it 3 times, you can say I always say,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
then we're good.
Then-
But no, I'm kidding.
funny.
That's a joke from public speakers.
Gotcha.
You know,
Yeah.
they always say, "How many times have I said this?" Okay, I've always said. But anyway, we love that. So where are you located? And I'm curious, like, what is the youngest patient you've ever had?
So I've seen kids from age probably like 6, 7 years old,
Uh-huh.
and then usually probably the oldest I've seen was like 80. But it is definitely more difficult to get older people better,
Sure.
Yeah.
because there's a lot of damage already done. But I've seen a young kid who had urinary issues with bedwetting and stuff like that, and we're able to kind of clear that up and stuff too. So it's
Wow.
wild. There's definitely some powers to chiropractic.
So you are a fan of natural medicine and
Yeah,
as
for
natural as possible, I
Right.
guess,
Yeah.
probably.
I think I'm a huge believer in diet. I think that diet can cure just about anything. There's studies
Yeah.
to show
Yeah.
diet can cure irritable bowel syndrome, colitis, eczema, skin-related diseases, all that. So basically the way I think and the way I tell my patients to think is if a caveman couldn't eat it, we shouldn't eat it, right?
Wow.
So usually if it comes in a package, it's probably not the best for you. But
Yeah.
I mean, we're all victims of that. You have to,
Right.
sometimes it's easier just to stop and grab something, but
Right.
Right.
But I like that caveman.
yeah.
It is.
So-
And I've always heard go around the edge of the supermarket.
Yeah.
One of my chiropractors actually said that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's the vegetables, it's the meat, it's
Right.
those things that are instead of the chips in the middle of the aisles or
Yeah.
the Cokes or
Yeah.
the whatever we want to grab.
One of our earlier shows, one of our first shows, I think it was show number 2. It was a farm to table restaurant owner, and she's also a master herbalist. And so we have a lot of people that really love all of those tips
Yeah.
and want to know like how to be healthier. And so we love that, and big proponents of that. I am in a company that in April is new in this too, but we absolutely believe in the power of food and the power of being natural, and the fact that you can put toxins on your skin and taste it in your mouth, and it infects you internally because of just our skin being part of our breathing organs.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's the largest organ.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that anything that you put in your body is
Yeah.
what your body's going to recreate. Every so often, your body recreates your cells off of what you put into it, right? So if you're giving your body bad nutrients and bad food, it's going to be bad. Just like putting bad oil in your car, bad
Yeah.
gas in your car, right? It's going to have issues.
Yeah. Do you have any program? Do you sign people up for regular, do you have package deals, or kind of how does your office run? And are you the only one in there?
Yeah, so I'm the only one in there, but our office and my model is based off of bucking the mold of normal chiropractic.
Okay.
Normal chiropractic care is
Like that.
Is
a little bit of a rebel with a cause.
you come in, you get treated, and then they sign you up for 15 to 30 visits, right?
Right.
And no one wants that. No one has time for that. So we don't do any of that. I try to get you better in 4 to 6 visits. If you're not better in 4 to 6 visits, we look for alternative options.
Yeah.
But I, was exposed to that growing up, trying to, no one wants to buy a large package
Right.
and spend $3-4 grand up front and come to see you 30 times. Like, it's just not
Right.
necessary. And people see right through that. And
I know there's another big question here too.
Yeah.
Probably, do you take insurance?
I don't, and so
Because
that's
a big deal. Like
Yeah.
some of them do not,
Yeah.
but the ones that do, if if you're in this big plan,
Yeah.
So I understand
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah.
I respect that you don't.
Yeah. Yeah, and not taking insurance allows me to spend 30, 40 minutes with people.
Right.
Because insurance cuts down your costs, right? So in Tennessee, they give you a standard rate. No matter if you're a Blue Cross patient, no matter how many minutes you're there, what's done to you, the doctor only gets $60 from Blue Cross. And then you have to pay admins to run the billing, do all that. So it cuts it in half. You're getting about $30 per visit if you take insurance. Whereas with me, my prices aren't much higher than that, but I don't have to deal with all the billing
Yeah.
associated with it or
That's
anything
cool.
like that. So
I also have another question.
Yes.
So one of the I think fears of people in general is for years, especially older people, they've come to trust the medical doctors.
Right.
And there's this medical doctors versus a chiropractor,
Yeah.
stigma or whatever. What would you say to an older client that wants to come try it, but maybe they're fearful of
Yeah.
chiropractic care, but they believe everything the medical doctors say? And I know God uses medical people,
Right.
just like he does chiropractic care,
Yeah.
but I'm all for all natural,
Yeah.
anytime you can in the synthetic medicine versus, all natural,
Right. I think that the gap is getting very close or more close than it once was. It used to be two opposite ends of the spectrum, but now that's slowly starting to shift together. And you see medical doctors starting to realize that, hey, chiropractors can help with low back pain
Right.
versus, giving them.
So you see them
cortisone
working
shots.
together more than they have in the past.
I do, yes,
Okay,
I
that's
do.
good.
But I think that it comes down to the patient, right?
Yeah.
A lot of patients have scars from chiropractors that I try to unwind, and a lot of patients that I see have scars from medical doctors.
Right.
I've gone and gotten a cortisone shot in my knee every 3 months for the last 5 years, and nothing's getting better. So people have those scars, but I think people are starting to accept chiropractic more and more.
And
as
I
things
think you
go.
probably just being so hands-on and like she was saying, just so kind and personable and
Yeah.
feeling like they can, your friend or
Yeah.
talk to you, you're gaining their trust.
Right.
Because they feel like you're really invested in them
Yeah.
and not just a number or the
And
next.
I don't have any staff or anything right now since we're just getting off the ground. So I answer the phone calls, do the scheduling, check people out. And I think people, at first I was really nervous. I was like, man, people aren't going to respect me because doesn't look like a normal chiropractic or
Right.
a normal doctor's office. But then I've actually found people respect me more because they do see the hustle. And when they call, I answer the phone. I can't tell you how many times I've answered the phone. They're like, oh, this is Dr. Marty. I was like, yeah, this is he. And so, I'll give people free consults and stuff over the phone.
That's awesome.
But just trying to help people because I know
Yes.
there's a lot of people that need it.
That's true.
Well, we're excited to share your story, and so how can people find you? I mean, they're going to find you through our website as
Yeah.
well. But where are you in town? What is it called?
So it's called Velo Spine and Sport, VELOCE, which is Italian for like fast, speed, all that. We're in Lebanon, Tennessee, but we usually serve Lebanon, Watertown, Hartsville, Mount Juliet area. So a decent area out there in Wilson County. So
A lot of people drive though, so
Yeah.
we get a lot of people from Texas. They'll drive an hour and not feel like it's a big deal.
That's true,
And so just depending on how important it is to have somebody that you really trust, because I think that's where the drive.
Yeah.
Like I told you, my parents drive an hour, but now I'm gonna say they need to they need to come over and check you out.
Yeah.
The reason I ask how young your patients have been, the doctor that they go to that treats a lot of the Amish community, they'll bring their newborns in.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely a huge, focus on prenatal care and then infant care and all that, pediatric chiropractic. There's a bunch of people that are certified in that, that really focus on that. Whereas like my focus is more on sports chiropractic and like sports medicine.
I do know because of the conversations that I've had with my daughter when she was expecting Abby, she would come in and get adjustments through her pregnancy. Tell us what you do for that.
So with that, it doesn't really change much from the normal adjustment. I just just wouldn't do any dry needling or any e-stim, anything that's going to apply a current
What
to
is
the body.
a dry needling? I'm a little scared of that.
So dry needling is where I take and place like 4 needles in a certain muscle of your body, and then I'll connect little alligator clips to the top of it and pulse a current through that muscle.
Okay.
With the idea that we're going to fatigue that muscle and like get it to relax and let go. It works really, really well on like shoulders. I like it a lot on shoulders and traps and stuff like that. But you wouldn't want to do that to a pregnant lady just because you don't want to mess with anything. Putting anything else inside the body. So anyway, with Rachel, did a lot of just adjustments because as we get pregnant and our stomach gets bigger, you tend to kind of protrude forward, which puts a lot of stress on the low back, in particular the SI joints in the low back. So just trying to release some pressure for her is basically what we did.
Well, it helped so much. So I know she came in a lot, but she was always just every little bit that she would, just feel more uncomfortable, she'd be like, hey, I gotta go see Dr. G. I'm going, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
My mom, she, and I can't remember the medical term for it, but she has a spastic larynx, and so she gets Botox in her throat to keep her larynx from just constantly moving. And so when she has a hard time speaking from that. And so I'm wondering if maybe even, she could have a like dry needling, which you were talking about, if it kind of slows down.
It's
your
hard
muscles.
to needle in this portion of the neck just because you have your jugular veins going through there, your carotid artery and all that. So I usually stay away from like the anterior aspect of the neck, the front of the neck. But I do like the Botox option. Obviously, Botox it's a toxin, right? It's botulinum toxin. And what that does is just paralyze your acetylcholine receptors, which are responsible for muscle contraction. So probably what she has is a muscle that's over-contracting.
Yes.
So the Botox goes in there and blocks those receptors so that the muscle can't over-contract.
Yeah. It helps. I mean, she there are times that it helps. Sometimes she goes in and it's a good, I think it was good this time. And then sometimes it doesn't work. And the last time she went in, the doctor said, I'm going to back up and not use as much. And it seemed to work better. I know it's just all a trial and error. And everybody's different, right?
100%, yeah.
And I know you're probably hearing success story after success story, whether it's immediate or a little bit long term. You know, somebody you spent time with, like Rachel. And knowing that you're making a difference. How does that make you feel?
Good. It's definitely I would say there's two sides of the spectrum. Definitely have success stories and people getting better, and it makes me feel great because they are getting better.
Right.
And then definitely people that I can't figure out, and internally it drives questioning within me. Am I doing the right thing? Am I missing something? And so it definitely is a double-edged sword for sure, because there is good times and people getting better all the time. And then there's times where people just aren't getting better, and I don't know. Sometimes is it my fault? Is it their fault? But usually I shoulder the blame for it. So it's definitely a tough internal dialogue.
And I'm sure everything's changing all the time.
It is.
You're going to different conferences or reading material and learning and growing and changing.
Yeah, that's
every
the
day.
most important part is to just continue learning, because the field moves fast, medicine moves fast, and if you don't get in front of it, you'll get ran over. Just like a lot of these old school chiropractors that are still doing the X-rays and all that, like. They're good now, but in 10 years we'll check back and see where things are, because people are just reading right through that right now. So
what is the process if you get a new patient in, and sounds like you will even give them a consultation over the phone?
Yeah. Usually if people call,
candidate
at this point in time, I have the time, so I'll definitely talk to them and see if it's something we can help them with. Bring them in, we sit down, we talk, we go through, you tell me what's bothering you. And then usually where a normal chiropractor would take them through a series of x-rays, I take them through a motion assessment, because we're always moving. We're never sitting still. So why would I look at a picture of you standing completely still, not breathing, not moving, and then base your care off that, right? I want to see where you can and can't move, and then try to get you to move through those areas.
That is so
That's
good.
cool. Yeah, I like that.
Because we're never static. We're never just sitting, not moving, not doing anything. So I think that the movement analysis is a better way to go, and then trying to better that movement after. So
and chances are, if somebody is coming to you with a deformed lumbar or something, they have some x-rays. They already know what's jacked up. So
well, it sounds like you're a good listener too, and I think that's so important with a doctor, that they're listening to the patient, or this is what my problem is.
Right.
Even though you might not be able to put in words, how you're feeling, but you go, oh, it's this part of my lower back or whatever, and you probably know exactly what it is and can just.
And a lot of times too, it's positive affirmations. You know, if there's a patient that's always hurt and not feeling well, it's like, okay, but were you able to put your sock on this week? Yes, I was. Okay, that's a positive. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to go from not being able to touch your toes to doing splits in 1 week. Like,
Right.
let's just
That's
tiny,
cool.
tiny positive steps. And people don't think of that. You know,
Yeah,
in
that's
your daily
really
life,
good.
you probably don't think of that all the time. Like, oh, I've gotten a little bit better. So it's a little bit better every day will lead to long-term changes.
That's awesome.
Do you like to see people, like you said, if you're going to see somebody and your goal is, okay, let's assess this in 4 treatments, would that be 2 a week or 1 a week or?
It really just varies person
Yeah.
to person for sure. It depends on their financial situation, their schedule, all that. I'm not overly bearing. I'm not one to be like, hey, I need you in here. And if you're not in here, then you're not a good candidate for us. That's not me at all. I'm more like, hey, when do you want to come? When I'm checking people out, it's, hey, when do you want to come back? I
Yeah.
think this would be a good idea. But whatever works for you, I'm more willing to work with you. So
Do you find that people, because in this day and age, people have more than one job, like how do they fit in an appointment and what are your regular hours?
So I usually am there on from 8 to 4 some days, and the other days are 10 to 6. So I try to get some in the evening after work and then some before work in the morning. But it's really easy to schedule an appointment online. That's what most of my patients do, is just
Yeah.
book an appointment online whenever it works for them. So
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Then you know exactly what your day is going to be
yeah,
like, and
yeah.
and so then you don't have any children.
Right. No
So-
children just
Yeah.
yet. So we're full steam ahead on the business.
So and tell me again, your siblings. You have siblings?
Yeah, I've got 3 siblings. They're all still in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
They're younger than me, so
Okay.
I'm the one that's out of the nest. So.
Are you a mama's boy or a dad? Your dad made over?
I think I was definitely a mama's boy growing up,
Uh-huh.
for sure. And now I think I'm a wife's boy. So
Yeah, well, for sure.
Yeah.
Well
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
Well
Yeah.
played.
Yeah.
Mic drop. But being so far away, do you guys get home on the holidays, or you try to?
No, we definitely go home. My wife and I are both very big family people. She's a big family person as well, and so it's nice because we can go kill 2 birds with 1 stone while we're
Yeah.
up there. See both families. The families are an hour
Yeah.
apart, but we definitely go back for Thanksgiving, Christmas,
Yeah.
all the good stuff. And so that'll always be home.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see where it
Do
takes
you have
us.
a lot of families that you treat multiple people within a family? I
It-
know Rachel and Brian both
yeah,
went. So.
yeah, for sure. And I think that speaks to what we do is customer service. I don't really have to ask people like, "Hey, do you have any family members you think would benefit from it?" They just show up,
Bring
Yeah.
them.
which is really cool. So, and word of mouth in Lebanon is such a small town.
Yeah.
So if you do right by people, people will definitely spread it.
Yeah.
Down in Nashville, it's a lot harder because it's there's not as much small community, but Lebanon
Yeah.
has a really really small community atmosphere, and so word spreads very quickly.
That's awesome. Do you like the South?
I do. At first, I was very apprehensive.
Yeah.
It was very the slowness of it, and like in Pennsylvania, people they don't talk to you when you're standing in line in the grocery store. Like you
Yeah.
just do your thing and you get out.
Yeah.
And I think that's true of all the North. And then like down here, it's like random people would just say hi to you and talk to you. And at
Wave
first, I
at
was
you
just
and-
like, I don't like this. But
What do you want?
and I'm introverted anyway, so but now that I'm starting to loosen up a little bit, it's been a little easier. But it was definitely an adjustment period.
Well, I hope that you have a thriving business. I hope that people tune in and keep spreading the word, and that
Yeah.
you just have to expand and get another like-minded doctor, and
Yeah.
whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
And I don't know what your goals are. Would you like to franchise and have what's 5 years? What does that look like for you?
I definitely think I'd like to keep it private. We definitely have some big plans in store in 5 to 10 years. I'd like to have a full scale gym with it too, with the practice,
Wow.
and allow patients to actively get better, almost like be a member of the practice where
Yeah.
they get access to me and get full access to the gym as well, so that I can
That's
help
cool.
them. But like the fix comes in the gym or at home with exercises. The fix doesn't come through me. I'm just there to aid you in getting
Yeah.
yourself better.
I love this. It makes me think of, just from a practical and how you grew up as an athlete as a child, how young do you feel like that if you could have, in your ideal world, if you could have a young, get your hands on athletes young, what would that look like?
I think that's a very, very controversial world right now. There's a
Okay.
lot of parents that will pay thousands and thousands of dollars for their kids to go see coaches because they want them to be like this Division I athletes, these pro athletes. But the best thing you can do is tell your kid to go out to the playground and just move. Just move, play, do the monkey bar, strengthen your shoulders, run, jump, play tag. It's the little things. You don't need sport-specific training at a young age. That comes later in life. And there's even studies that show kids that only play one sport growing up are significantly worse off than kids that play multiple sports. So don't stick to one sport because just play all of them and it will help better develop your body.
Because it seems like if you're golfing, you would need some muscles that you wouldn't if you were swinging it's a different place that you would be swinging a club versus swinging a bat.
Exactly.
And throwing a ball. It just seems like I'm fast. I'm not very athletic, but I'm fascinated by. I can't wait. I love the Olympics and all of these people who have mastered their bodies and know exactly what their limits are and know how to push them and when to when they're going to tear something and. Very fascinating. I love it.
I love the idea of the
impressed.
gym because so many people need accountability.
Yeah.
And so there would be some sort of, I haven't went, you're going to know if they come or not.
Right.
You're going to know if they're in there or not. And I would say even for myself, that's the biggest thing, being so busy, from day to day is making yourself.
Right.
But self-care, like we have to.
And that's what I tell patients all the time is like, look at your screen time on your phone. If you've got 45 minutes on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever it may be, those 45 minutes could be spent elsewhere for sure.
Yeah.
In the gym, walking, even if it's just a walk around your neighborhood, you'll feel better.
Yeah.
So.
Love it. What would you say if somebody is just trying to move more at home? What are some beginner things that you would have somebody do?
I usually tell people that are asking like, I want to start working out. I want to start exercising. Start simple. Start with a 30-minute walk after dinner. There's studies that show that improves digestion a ton, which helps you better process your food and get more nutrients out of it. So I would say start with a 30-minute walk after dinner. If you can do that pain-free, then that's a good place to start. And then usually start with some stretching, some mobility work in the mornings once you're starting to kind of build through that. But definitely start with a walk. And then two, I tell people all the time, like you will never outwork a bad diet. So people that want to start exercising, like it's not going to do much for you if you're continuing to eat the same way that you are. So if you clean up the diet first, then exercise can even follow that. You can wait to exercise.
Are you a big proponent of like lifting weights and stretch yoga, swimming?
I think weightlifting has its benefits for sure. I think Pilates is very, very good, especially for women, especially for people that may watch your show. Pilates is a great option because it builds a ton of core strength, which we lose as we age for sure. And then when you start to lose some of that core strength, you get the low back pain, the hamstring pain, all that. So Pilates is a great option for the female population for sure.
Awesome. Do you ever Zoom with people? Or?
I don't. Like with HIPAA and all that, you have to have like certain software so that it's all protected and all that. So I don't do that too often. But if a family member calls or something like that, I'll definitely kind of guide them through stuff. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being on the show. I hope that you guys have loved it. It's been really fun, hasn't it? Thank you for being here. We're just really excited to spread the word and take care of yourself, guys. I mean, move more and eat less and listen to your body. When there's pain, there's a reason, and go see somebody. Go see Dr. G. We want you to hook in with that. So thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next week on Get It Together, y'all. We're here to help.